No. I think I screwed this up. Oh no. Oh no. I really like this color. Try to rectify that. I think I'll start with that. Yeah, not all changes are always good. Trying to trying to revert it. I feel like I screwed up this part. Like parts are good, and then some parts are just clearly better. Man, it's funny how innocuous the language can be without that gets banned on like Twitter. Saying one thing is not another is apparently is a ban on Twitter nowadays. I was just listening to Sam Harris talk with Jack Dorsey and brought up a really interesting situation. Man. Can't say things on social media, I guess, anymore. Even if it's like super innocuous. It really makes you think. Kind of sad. I think you should be able to say things that are super cringe inducing on Twitter, to be honest, because I feel like it's literal violence against me when you say, I don't know, start quoting V from Vendetta, V for Vendetta, the movie. Like, I feel like if you do that, you should be banned. In a post case, no one should be able to hurt me that way. I don't know if Twitter has any plans to monitor cringe as a one of the metrics for healthy conversation, but I think it should definitely be a consideration. This is looking bad. Worse. This time. This way or this? Okay. Down. Keep forgetting. Which way is which? Depending on the stroke, get different effects. I found a Rungia copy artist that has made it to the top of ArtStation. I don't know how I'd feel about this, to be honest, because like I kind of want to also get to that level, but this guy is like literally ripping off the personal work IPs that Rungia puts out, and he's like, yeah, these are my works, my failed works. I find that he calls them failed works to be kind of thing when it's like not really your work that you're failing at. Let's see if we can... Who's at the top? Didn't save. Should have saved it. You. Just like. If you Google like Build Wars, there's this like splitting image of it. And on Rangia's like he's taking like parts from one image and into another image, and it's like, yeah, I like an architect. I'm the architect. This one is Field Pursuit. To Living Story. Gosh. Was Heart of Thorn? Maybe a little more. Let me see. Maybe I could just Google. Here it is. Of course, interest. Here we go. Yeah, it's just like. Pull out the other one. I don't know, I find this guy to be beach. Oh, this one. This one. This one. It's kind of. There's parts of this one which are like also from like other Rengia pieces, like this thing. Just like mashing. I don't know, it's like a real. I think it's more like kind of force. Some stuff. Make this character. I don't know. This reminds me a lot of it, but like a worse Rengia. Kind of just like way worse. Especially this one's just really like rip-offy. I think the color palette, the like everything in the image is ripped off. I don't know, something about that. Just fun. Fun. My failed works. Yeah, that's just it. 900 likes. I don't know. I guess that's all you gotta do nowadays. Be a good artist. Just rip off Rengia. I try to like rip off Rengia a little bit, not to the extent where I'm literally copying the buildings. It's like, yeah, this is mine. I don't know. Things like that just kind of annoy me. I feel like no one else gets annoyed by that. Because when I try to talk about it with other people, They're just like, yeah, it's very, very similar, but, you know, what are you gonna do exactly? Autism. It's autism. It's gotta be. Hey, Decade's Best. What's up, dude? How's it going? Just complaining. I feel like if it was any other artist, like, I wouldn't care as much because people get work stolen all the time, and I'm just like, yeah. But when someone badly apes Rangia, I feel like that's just an affront to. Something else. The color here, I think, worsen. Different. No major complaints? Oh, that's good. Try a saturation layer. Maybe that'll work. Knock up the saturation a bit. A little bit too much. Maybe like 15% of that. I don't know. Some of these parts, I feel like some parts are definitely better. The parts are like, just not sure. But yeah, you know, just a regular day for me. Watching Twitter drama. Oh, it's the ones that. Shit. Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's unintentionally built for that purpose. I've been listening to Jack Dorsey on like 7 podcasts, and he's like, "Yeah, we want to make it real nice and for you to go there and learn something." And I'm just like, "That's never gonna happen." It's an admirable goal, I think, maybe in some sense, because depending on how it's done, could that like everyone goes and learns from others, that could be interesting. But at the same time, it feels like I don't know. feels bad. Feels bad that people are choosing non-academic institutions such as YouTube and Twitter, um, just like to get their information. I don't know. I I think these places shouldn't be regarded as you know, that. In fact, when you police content and you say like, oh man, someone could learn this and be hurt by this, you're actually, validating Twitter as a tool for education. That, it's like it's just the same as reading a book. Like, um, in my humble opinion, I don't think that's a good state of affairs. The mute button is my best friend. Yeah, I think mute is good. I think it's a great feature. Um, Jack talks about something like a mute um for the thread. Like if someone goes on there and like calls you an idiot, and you mute them for the whole thread. I don't know. It's I don't really like that idea because the other part of the interview is like, oh, we wanna strive for non um non echo chamber based social media, and I mean that's not impossible. That's not, you know birds of a feather flock together is an a priori just like rational claim, just true. Um, people like what people like things they like. They're not gonna like go out and be like, oh, I'm gonna seek out the opposing side of this argument. Like most people don't do that. Um, as a contrarian, I have to, because that's my bread and butter. I want to tell people they're wrong, but if I don't know what their argument is, I can't tell them they're wrong. So like I can't. Um, it's it's painful. I could see why you wouldn't want to be challenged on your thinking, because it's like, um it's like it's work. It's work, and um it's work, and it's just so much easier to circle jerk. um See, I'm a special snowflake. I go out of my way to tell people they're wrong. That's why I have no friends. Oh no. Oh no. Wait. Oh, I do have friends. I do have friends that are kind of okay with the way I am. That, like, it's either that, or I have like separate pockets of people who I can't be myself around. Um, or I limit the amount of myself that I can, because I think everyone kind of does that, in a weird sense. Um, Gotten to the point where I can't be bothered with people who won't try to educate themselves on any issues. Uh, it's tough. It's tough. Like, I think I think the expectation that everyone has to be um right on everything all the time. I can't subscribe to that, but um it feels like teach people or argue with them. If you want to be ignorant, good luck with that. Yeah. Yeah, I think these spaces like this is why I don't think you should police these spaces like in such a way like Twitter does, where like you say something that's not that's deemed offensive or something like that. I don't think it should be policed because I think it gives them power. Like the correct way is just to ignore them and I don't know. That's the mute button is my best friend, basically. Yeah. And so like I don't think it's fair to like make people, like you gotta do the work. You gotta go out and find opposing opinions. I don't think like no one's really interested in that. So Jack said something like one of his solutions is that he wants to make it easier for people to follow hashtag. Like there's no way to do that. I don't really understand what he's saying because it seems like it's very easy to like there's a trending page that's heavily policed. Things that are deemed unsavory are very quickly dispatched from that. Right. I agree. Like there's it's not hard. There's a search function. Um it seems like maybe we're super users because he kind of intimates that someone who's been on the on Twitter for a very long time might know this, but but most people just stay on their feeds and they don't like, and that's not like at all how I browse. So it's kind of weird because I get sent stuff and it's like, oh, what is this? What are people saying about this? And I'll search it. I feel like I'm not in the minority there, but I feel like Jack might know more about that, but having access to all the stats, but it certainly doesn't feel like people that want to engage with these things seem to have no trouble finding them. But yeah, it's always conversations that have been going on since like the 60s. Like on Twitter, I don't know. I don't feel very incensed by them. I don't know why anyone would get banned over them. It just seems really heavy-handed and kind of the same with Twitch. Twitch is like banning people for what I can only call perceived offense. Language is violence. Personally, I don't think this type of stuff should be left up to CEOs of a company. To be honest, I'm sure. I feel like yeah, for sure. Like to improve user experience is just always good without if you can do it without just making the platform super heavy and like unwieldy to understand and just like over encumbered with just features. Like Moments is one of those that I just like. They're very good for someone like a journalist. Yeah, sure. People can make money off of things, but that's like for me, I view it always through like a lens of, well, what about the opposing ideology? Is it making money off of this too? And so like should should they not? I think someone like Rush Limbaugh, for instance, shouldn't be banned, even though all the things he says have no utility and are just harmful. They don't what's it called. But like I fear very much that if you take away his right to say them, you not only rob him of the right to freedom of speech, you rob me of the right to hear them. I think it was gosh, I forgot the name. I'm very bad with names. I don't remember most names. Sorry. I have to Google it. The quote is something like crime against both parties. Um, Du Bois? I want to say Du Bois. Right. I don't think you should be allowed to play favorites. I think the law should be made through the curtain of it's not blindness, curtain of ignorance. Curtain of ignorance, not blindness, ignorance. Yeah. So you should not, have in mind a certain group when you're making laws that affect everybody. It's um, is kind of one of the innovations of liberal democracy that I feel like is it's like an evergreen type of idea. Um, just a great base concept. Um, so yeah, when someone says something stupid, I want the right to ridicule them if those thoughts and those words don't exist for me, then I feel like I've been personally robbed. I I also think that people can be wrong, and something that is thought of as well. Um, totally incorrect or totally correct one day might become because again we're usually when we're talking about free speech we're talking about people who aren't, they're not, this is not an academic institution that I'm interested in protecting. I feel like those are protected by themselves. So, like, they don't really need, like, the University of Toronto does not need protections from Twitter or something like that. I feel like it's usually just that's real tough. I feel like I feel like Alex Jones is a very special case because um what he deals in is something like, well, Sandy Hook was an inside government job. You know, I don't know, I just like, I feel like you should be able to say that, but you should also be able to laugh at that. Like, there is no, I feel like anything outside of the just the imminent domain of hey, we need to, like, inciting violence and perhaps, the direct denigration of a group of people. For instance, like, if you said something like this certain group of people is just comprised of criminals, we probably shouldn't be able to say something like that. At least you shouldn't be amplified in saying that, I don't think. And it's very hard to counter that in any way that's not censorship. I don't exactly know what the solution is to something like that. Alex Jones, for instance, might have said something like, let's see. Other than the Sandy Hook thing, I'm struggling to find, like, because honestly, the things that he says are not the smartest things, and so my brain just kind of deletes them, and so I can't be arsed to remember. One thing if his comments sparked a debate, but they do incite violence. Prime example is that he lied about Hillary Clinton leading up to trial. Oh God. A man with a gun went to the pizza shop intending to kill some. Oh, pizza. Oh, right. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, that is. Yeah, see, that would be like. That would be like, hey, these, like, this would be libel. This would be libel and incitement of violence, I think. When you say something like that, so I feel like at that point the government should actually get involved and investigate whether or not Alex Jones incited violence. And at that point, I believe, once a determination has been made, yeah, I think that one case is definitely it's definitely like one of those that is more than Alex Jones saying that, one thing is not the other, something like that, or there's here's what experts in the field of X are thinking. Here is a published study of what's called. I don't really expect them to say that, but these are things that might get flagged down as hate speech. Here's a book might get flagged down by as hate speech. I think if we're talking about some of these authors. So I think those cases like Alex Jones should be investigated by the federal government. I think that there should be a determination, and at the same token, I think there should be case law for protecting Alex Jones's rights, and so I think it should be very clear where he lands. Right now, it's kind of especially on the internet, it's kind of we're in this kind of digital frontier, and there's no there's no I feel like established case law for this type of thing, and it's just up to Google, or it's just up to yeah, I do think there should be an investigation. I do think that I would be, I would probably it would probably be easier to talk about if you can say, well, okay, look, he broke the law. At that point, it becomes very simple, you know. But right now, it seems to me like we have people with a particular set of values that are not based around truth, but rather based around compassion, and those values could be harmful to the very goals that these people have. So I feel like Twitter is the Lena Dunham of its own like ideological framework. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but Lena Dunham makes everything worse. No matter what she's doing, it's always worse somehow. Like, the best of intentions do not guarantee a good result. And so, like, what I would like to see is if Twitter goes around masquerading as a utility, which it's not, it's trying to be, but it's not, you know. If it wants to do that, then there has to be some sort of regulation, somewhat like a utility. Like, it shouldn't just be, okay, well, you know, we have an algorithm and this guy has multiple accounts, so we're gonna ban him. I think Jack implied that Milo Yiannopoulos, for instance, had multiple accounts, and that is why he got banned. I remember him sending very mean tweets. I don't think I feel like at that point you should just be able to mute the person. But if they have like an army, it's kind of difficult. So I feel like there should be tools in the hands of like someone that's like, hey, I want to read my mentions, but you know, I also don't want to be accosted. Now, there's a balance there, I think. It's a balance between, you know, the rights of someone to say, call you an idiot on the internet. I'm from a generation where this was, you know, this came part and parcel with, you know, being on the internet, you just this you know just you just expect it. There's no there's no like trust and safety commission. Um, but yeah, I think Jack is one of those fundamentally caring and conscientious people that probably shouldn't end up as CEOs. Rarely do, I think. So he's probably one of the best people for the job. I think the problem is more that there's more than just Jack working at Twitter. Right. I think that lying would fall under slander, and so that again, there has to be some sort of law, and some sort of kind of punishment for lying. For instance, if Donald Trump tomorrow says that Tesla is a shitty company and Elon Musk is an idiot, like I feel like that's an opinion. If he says Tesla is under federal investigation and that's a lie, you know, that should be that should be kind of slandered. That should have law-based consequences, Justice Department-based consequences, not. I feel like those would be much more serious and much more satisfying. I don't know. I don't know what vulnerable people are. I feel like it has to. There's no. If you go with, some people are more vulnerable than others. I feel like we're discussing mental health maybe. Like I don't know if those people should have protections placed on them. It's a tough question. Say for instance, someone who has depression. What kind, like, I don't know. It's tough because I don't believe in legislating for the worst case. Me personally, I don't think that's, because then you get laws like, okay, we can't have fireworks because one person, what's it called? I believe that there should be a label. I believe like this gun can tear clothing, something of that nature. But I don't know. I don't know if you can base good policy on worst case scenarios. That usually means vulnerable is a bit vague. I'm speaking of uneducated, undereducated, fall victims. Some of these extreme viewpoints. Yeah, people who believe like the Earth is flat, for instance. Like there has to be some accountability. Like for instance, the guy that went to shoot some pedophiles, right? You know, I feel like at that point that's a problem. But by the same token, if you engage in something like the Young Turks, for instance, engage in a very similar kind of maneuver where they constantly rile up hate. Um, it's and then there's a shooting that happens that's like by one of the contributors, like I'm sorry, a community member contributors. They should probably also face maybe some sort of consequence for that. I don't know um, exactly like what the solution is, because you then run into the problem of, well, are you responsible for anything a fan does, right? Um, because there are sick people in this world, and you just can't really control them. There's no there's no way, and saying, well, you can't say this because, well, someone might, might make a logical connection and say, well, okay, these people are fundamentally evil then. Um, why shouldn't I mow them down with a high powered assault rifle? Um, it's a you know it's kind of like, at that point it becomes two point causality, and our legislative body is not great with that. Like at the core, like you can't give someone money and say, hey, I want this done, but you can finance their what's called their whole campaign and represent a certain interest, so go figure. I don't know. I think there's good ways of dealing with people like Alex Jones. I think YouTube has this policy where they attach Wikipedia links to all conspiracy theories, and they also have started to stop suggesting. Like if you looked up something like pictures of the World Trade Center, you shouldn't get World Trade Center conspiracies in the suggestion box, which is what's it called. So I don't know. I don't think we should disallow people from saying dumb things on the internet unless they are, directly, and it has to be like a pattern of uh, behavior. I think. Working on some hands, Basri. What's up, dog? How's it going? It has to be a pattern of behavior before you're able. Like you can't say like, okay, he said something, let's ban him. It has to be like a pattern where it's like there's no doubt in my mind that these people want to control violence. So like there's like, if you search for something like flat Earth conspiracy theories, I think you should get every piece of content that lists that. But I don't think like you should get oppositional. But these are just like my opinions. I think some of the changes are good for YouTube, for instance, that suggesting or not suggesting what's called content, like to generate more clicks, is probably bad for YouTube as a platform, but they're taking the hit for kind of a greater good. Because how far does that rabbit hole go, and how many clicks can you get out of it? Is probably the MO of some place like YouTube. So I think there's solutions that don't require censorship that are good. So we don't need to censor flat earthers. Uh, we can just attach a Wikipedia article to the to the bottom of the video, for instance. That's a good solution. I think that's and if someone wants to do the work and like, hey, I'm interested in this topic, and usually people who watch these things are like, yeah, show me, I'm a shower, you know. Uh, I I want to be shown the what's called the evidence. I'm all for Alex Jones creating his own website and creating his own social media website. I don't think he deserves to be part of larger sites like Twitter or Facebook. Well, it depends on what he's doing on those sites. I think Jack actually has the correct idea is that if he doesn't break the terms of service, then he should not be banned. I don't know. It doesn't. It seems like stupid ideas should be given sunlight. Well, I mean that at that point it's kind of an assumption. Like you could say, well, he hasn't broken any laws, but he seems like a pedophile, so we're just gonna kill him. You know, so there's a what's it called? There's a leap of faith. Yes, you're right that Alex Jones might be trying to cultivate an audience on Twitter, and then but it gives people the ability to answer him in a public setting. If you take that away, then you are only left with these people who like lurk these websites, and there's no way for them to ever see the light of day. They're just in their echo chamber, and so that I feel like that's worse. Yeah, there has to be I think there has to be legislation that secures your right to. What? I just get what's it called? Yeah, I think there has to be some sort of legislation that protects Alex Jones. I don't agree with anything he has to say, really. At one point, he called Bill Maher a pedophile because his parent company is called Kid Love. This is on the border of slander, and he should be, taken to court for it. I don't think you can tell people what to think. I think that's counterproductive. Like, in the sense of, like, hey, you're an idiot for believing Alex Jones. What's it called? That person isn't gonna turn around and say like, "Oh, you're right. I'm a retard." He's gonna get deeper into what's it called. So, I think I think there has to be a kind of a shift into more education, I guess. We have to teach kids to critically think in school, and this is something that this is like no shit a part of like a book called what was it called? Something about the conversation with the devil by a American philosopher in the 50s. It's about what I took from that book is it's kind of like a self-help book, and anyway, he gives a lot of prescriptions to teachers and educators, and one of them is like, well, why don't you teach the kids to critically think, critically analyze? I think we're doing the opposite of that right now. I don't think we've ever tried to do this because it's never been in the interests of raising obedient factory workers. That's never really been the MO of public education. It's not like teach kids to critically think. That's an awful idea. Um, and how do you even go about doing that? I could tell you how you don't go about doing that. There's a recent like debacle on the internet where uh, someone got disqualified for quoting Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson. Now I think like like you shouldn't attach names to really banal arguments. I think it's a mistake. Like you don't need like it feels like it was done for controversy. Like, hey, I'm gonna big dick this and just like get on the front page of Twitter because I know exactly what's gonna happen if I use these names. And I don't say the incredibly banal, um, just a priori truths. Like if you collectivize people, um, it creates a collective guilt. You know, like you don't really need like Ben Shapiro didn't think of this. Um, on the other side, I don't think he's a white supremacist, and calling him that is incredibly unhelpful and just takes away from um, the name and the word itself. It doesn't make any sense. He's like Jewish American. It's But yeah, if you teach kids that if they cry during a debate round, um, they win the round, and their opponent gets punished and taken off the debate team. I think that's bad. I think that's not good. Or at least you know what? No value judgment. I think that's not the way to teach critical thinking. I think that teaches you um, something else. But yeah, I think it's very difficult to deal with something like an Alex Jones that would that's actually smart. Thankfully, Alex Jones is not incredibly intelligent, and so um, there is really no problem finding something like, hey, you're promoting a podcast where you slander Bill Maher. Um, this is in violation of terms of service and the United States law. You're banned from our platform. Now, you could say that, like, what if they're incredibly intelligent, and they're really great at hiding uh, their intentions. I don't think you can ban people like that. Uh, for I know what he's doing. I don't think you can do that. Because at some point you're basically loading a gun, and at some point that gun is going to be pointed at you. Yeah, what's it called? I think yeah, it's a difficult problem. I don't see like a single point of solution other than education. There's no no magic bullet for stupid people. Like just none. Um I could tell you how to make more of them though. Um what we need to do is ban abortion. that would be really great. Then everybody, there's just no way. There's just no way to. It's called. See, here's my bias. See, I'm perfectly willing to, demonstrate it. Uh, I, but at the same token, even though I might say like, okay, well, this is a problem of economics here, and it like the solution is pretty clear. Uh, this is just an unambiguously powerful solution. At the same time, I really don't think you should be whacking the babies as they come out. I feel like that's a little bit much for me. There's a bill in front of Congress, which I call the how to abort your political career instead of aborting some kids bill, because the woman who co-sponsored it and presented it to Congress later put out a mea culpa, where she says, "Well, I didn't really actually read the bill." Do you know how badly you need to screw up for a congresswoman to have no out, other than to say, "I'm literally incompetent. I'm literally an idiot." Like, just on what level you gotta it's just, you gotta think about this for a little bit. If they're saying that, man, that must have been just monumentally bad. So there's a clip propagated by most of the far right outlets and like Fox News and stuff, where it's just I like when they don't have to press anything, they just play you the unedited footage. That's when okay, all right, they got a point. They have a point. And it basically says, the guy asks her, well, on the committee, does your bill allow for an abortion during ovulation? Dilation. I'm sorry. The vulva is dilating. Or can we abort? And she says, yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I just don't think. I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't think there's a lot of people that have the balls to say something like, "Oh, I'm pro-abortion." There's just as a non-politician, I feel like that's the only person that could say it. You can't really go out there and expect to be reelected if you say something like that. Yeah, not gonna happen. So it's just yeah, shooting yourself in the foot, basically. I didn't watch the State of the Union address, so I can't comment on it, but I'm sure it's boring and meaningless. When talking about our legislative system and our executive branch, I tend, especially recently, not to believe a word, but rather to look at the action taken by the people in charge. The problem I have with abortion is that government wants to tell women what they can and can't do with their bodies. In my opinion, this should be a private matter between the woman and her healthcare provider. That being said, I'm not saying we should allow babies to be aborted just for the heck of it. They should be carefully considered. Yeah, basically. I think I just see it as a pragmatic sort of. I don't want babies to be aborted, just for the heck of it, obviously. But there's a very clear correlation between um, allowing control of your reproductive destiny and um, poverty, crime rates. It's really simple, honestly. When you look at the stats and you're like, oh, okay, so you went from by introducing contraception or abortion, you went from incredibly impoverished over a period of like 50 years to um, much higher above the poverty level. That's just an amazing like net good. So yeah, for me it seems very pragmatic. Like obviously, I can understand the opposing argument, that it is in a sense murder, and I believe before the third trimester that it is not, but there's quite a few people who disagree with um, with that. So but yeah, that's again just my opinion. We're just gonna kill him. That's a good line. Um, turn on some music. Yeah, again, I think if you make it past the third trimester, no deal. Sorry, bud. But yeah, I think it's very strange that uh, people who claim to be pragmatic also don't um, kind of don't use that pragmatism when it is kind of, let's say, an emotionally loaded issue. I mean, I understand that, but yeah, other part of the abortion is that right-wing conservatives are turning what should be a private matter into a so-called moral issue about murder, and frankly, the Republicans' day of moral superiority are over. Hmm. I think you see, I'm a postmodernist actually, so I think it's very difficult to talk about meta ethics and say, well, okay, well, we are morally superior, because it leads you down into very dark corners of thought. If you can just easily cast your political opponents as evil, then debate becomes, kind of a rigmarole. Are we really going to go through the rigmarole of what's it called, deciding what actually happened here. I gotta play this clip now. Wait, no, I think that's a bad idea. Hold on, no, let me think about this a second. No, I think I'll get banned if I was to play something like that. Never mind. I'll have to go find world peace by yourself. No one is morally superior, in my opinion. However, there are many who think they are. They would never admit it, but you could tell by their words and actions. I like to think about ethics a lot. I think that it's one of those things that consumes too much of my time. I really shouldn't. But yeah, I don't know. I'm constantly reading books about it. Like, I'm in the middle of Genealogy of Morality, for instance. It's pretty good. I recommend. I think I want to move this whole thing down. Hold on. Let me check what's going on here. I'm definitely piecing together more of it, I think. I don't like this thing though. I don't know how I'm gonna solve it, but I don't really like this. I think the best we can do is come up with or discover, not come up with, a set of ethics that works, a set of morals that works. You prefer that word? But I just don't see. I like most of. I feel like most claims in morality are just a priori true, just rational claims, non-empirical claims. And I think it. I think that's a big problem. I think there has to be much more empiricism involved. And it has to kind of work like science, where rational claims go hand in hand with empirical claims. I don't think science can come up with the why, but I think it gives us a good framework of coming up with kind of working solutions, or at least a framework of creating a very diluted system of meta ethics. Merge this down. The best diluted. What's it called? System of meta ethics. I'm not sure if there can be a universal Okay. Hmm. For instance, Kant says something like, if you want to create um, an ethic, it has to be something that you can apply um, as a law or as a rule for everybody, or something that um, something that works universally. But I'm not sure if you can do that. I think I think there should be an attempt. um, Kind of like this previous version, a little bit better. It was maybe the contrast in the middle. Some of this being in shadow. Yes, exactly. I I think you should be wary of anyone who tells you they have the answer. Um, those people tend to be the most wrong. So if someone tells you, like Sam Harris says, well, we just gotta, just gotta freaking use science, and then we'll just figure out the best way to exist in the universe. I I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But see, the problem is that like I can't make a positive claim about morality personally. So like I'm just like left shrugging there, and that I feel like that opens me up too, because it's like, oh well, then you're just a fence sitter and you've got no ideas, and then so so you're wrong. No. What else do I like about? I like this one's gesture more, I think, but I don't know. I also like that it comes out here. I might take like this part. I think I like that part. Yeah, thank you for your time. Appreciate you. I had a pretty good one the other day too, about the Bible. I'm a big Bible nut, actually. I was, I was raised, I was raised as a Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I guess I wasn't raised a Catholic. I went to Catholic school and became an atheist by the age of like 9. So, but before that, I was able to learn quite a lot from Bible study, and so I'm a big fan of the Bible. Um, as well, just a things that have impact. Like um, I very much enjoy things like that. It, you know, significant things. That's always cool. So that's always a fun discussion for me, especially now since like if you go on Reddit, it's all like, oh, BTFO, atheist, it's Christian, got him. Just, you know, not helpful at all, and just bad discussions. I don't know. I know very little about the Bible. That's a topic my partner can discuss thoroughly. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's always like you know, exploring the systems of ethics. You know, you kind of you gotta start somewhere, as Kermit likes to say. Um, I think I got my start from the Bible. It's very difficult to it makes me feel like I kind of have access to some of the truth, the red pill that some people have kind of lost. Even like because we are, you know, fundamentally there is definitely a basis of our society in Christian Judeo teachings, and our the status quo morality seems to be the red pill. Yeah, I'm people who like use that reference like unironically. I think there's no implying you have access to revelation is always bad. But yeah, there's like, because usually like you come up with a complex moral question, you're like, well, how did we get here? And then you're just like, oh wow, yeah, so well, it's in the Bible, huh? That's interesting. So how long has this discussion been going on? Oh right, since antiquity. That's interesting. What did the Greeks think about this? Oh wow, really interesting. So the Bible is actually just an innovation on what's it called? Judean Jewish thought, and more like an implementation of Greek ideas. That's interesting. I don't know. Things like that always like kind of excite me. There was a translation of the Jewish Bible recently that translated was seeking to remove Christianisms, it says, from from the Torah. Sorry, not the Bible. The first 5 books. I thought that was so interesting that like someone was like, hey, you know, this thing that led into this other thing, it has no place in this thing. So so some of the things in the translations that I found funny and are actually interesting was that he translated to anoint as to moisten his head. You know, that's a pretty big downgrade. Just like this guy worked for Activision or EA or something. Like, is he like one of those guys that sees an E3 trailer and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna downgrade this a little bit. What's called? There's a lot of controversy about Anthem being a little bit downgraded from what's called right now. Big I've kind of been following it. My friends might play it, so always checking out games. Look interesting. But yeah, it's I feel like that Translation is maybe I'm like biased, but I feel like that translation is like way worse. Way worse. Just not great. There's a couple others, but that one struck me the hardest, I think. Now, the language of the Old Testament is impenetrable, to say the least. Definitely not for just regular reading. Just but yeah. Hate to leave a good conversation, but need to get some work done. Catch you later. Same. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Actually, I find it really, really, I don't know, strange. Like, I'll read this place called Our Bad Philosophy, and what I've noticed is that a lot of them kind of sort of defend Christianity in some sense. At least they reject the circle jerk that is the rest of Reddit. I always found that like really strange. Because they're kind of the type of person that I kind of associate with the ha, got him crowd. But for some reason they have like this big soft spot for Christianity. Just strange, you know. Feels like a thoughtful or, you know, the ability to be kind of thoughtful type of side to them that I didn't really see. There's a recent post where right-wing outlet PragerU, gosh, I don't even know what to call this video. The post title is hard determinism BTFO, free will confirmed. So again, so this is the type of language that people use. I don't know, I use that language too, but I feel like I'm not I try to be thoughtful too, and it seems like they don't. But it's a fascinating video. I recommend watching, especially if you watched other PragerU videos. It starts off with, this is kind of outlining badly some of the arguments made by someone like Spinoza or any of the recent arguments for hard determinism. And then it goes to full into, well, free will is obviously true, and if free will is obviously true, then therefore God. I don't know. I you ever like agree with someone, but like for the wrongest reasons, and then it's like, oh, wait a second, this is why I disagree with you. Okay, thank God. So I don't know. I think free will is true, but you have to like make a lot of leaps to get there. And I don't think you can just go, well, if this is true, then therefore God. I I don't think you can like those aren't really uh those claims aren't really you together usually. Those are just like separate claims. But yeah. So it's very interesting to hear PragerU to just make a mockery of intelligent thought and just be like, yeah, it's just that simple. Ha, 5 minute YouTube video. We got him. Um, yeah, I don't know. How do you combat? Do you have to combat dumb people on the internet like that? Um, I don't know. I think there might be no way to stop people from believing certain things, even if you used force. Like you started murdering them in the streets. I don't know if that'll solve any of that. In fact, so by that same token, censorship as a use of hard force, I'm not sure if it'll work. Um, Even if it's perfect censorship, and not only is it ineffective, um, it gives them uh, kind of a very large soapbox to stand on. Like, hey, I'm not, just hateful. I'm a free speech advocate. And these are people that don't like free speech generally. Um, it's a bit annoying to watch someone that's, totally for uh, the use of censorship when it befits them make a stand for free speech. Right? Just something that um, painful in no uncertain terms. Oh, I'm trying to do like a pattern on this thing, but it's proving a little difficult. I'm also trying to do like little weird folds here and there. Man, I had some really good pho the other day. Oh my god. I walked out of that restaurant. I was so stuffed that I could just barely walk out. Oh my god, the pho. If you're ever in like a Vietnamese place, definitely try the banh mi, which is like a type of sandwich with roast pork shoulder and lemongrass. It's amazing. There's not there's not many things like in my brain that I can just like associate with the taste. It's just really great. Um, yeah, some of these things I could just eat forever. Cuban sandwiches, like just made in the traditional style. Banh mi. I must have eaten about, gosh, it was like 3 liters of that soup. It was so good. I heard someone calling pho like the new ramen. I was like, oh, it's nothing like ramen though. I mean, you're not wrong that it's popular, but it's much more like chill broth, whereas ramen is more like an orchestra of flavors that's playing together, whereas pho is like a single note that's carried. It's nice to get out sometimes. I feel like um, I stay indoors way too much. Hmm, not sure how to make this interesting, but at the same time, right? I might not do that too much. Sam Harris on Joe Rogan today, I think. It's gonna be a fun watch. Usually is a really good conversation. I rather enjoy it. So looking forward to it. Neon Permanent, Peppermint. How's it going? Just trying to do this pattern. trying to figure out a neat path there. Yeah. Find Coyote's Discord. Oh, awesome. Cool. So you're a furry. No, kidding. Rip. Trying different things. Yeah, it's neat that someone found me from there. Interesting. Interesting. Interdasting, you might say. See, I wanna hit different saturations here, and then maybe bring back some of those reds and maybe some of this. Not sure exactly how there's a harsh light there. That's neat. I also like some of these scales a bit better. So I'm gonna just take the texture there. I like how sometimes I'll be drawing something for a while and then I just don't get anywhere, and then I go back. But yeah, how's the furry civil war going? Tell me about that. Just keep seeing a lot of like that on the Twitter. The furry civil war. I don't know, maybe I'm misinterpreting. I swear I saw something like some tweets that were like, oh, the furry civil war is happening. Hey, yeah, keep painting and you'll get here. It's not anything other than, you know, practice and time investment, a lot of thinking, I think. A lot of thinking. Yeah, I could swear I saw like 5 tweets like just furry on furry violence. Ton of people, popular artists, are being called out on Twitter for being shitty human beings. Rip. Oh no, another question of meta ethics. I don't know if I want to go down this path. Oh no. I definitely saw a lot of like very angry tweets. I am not woke to the situation, however, so I cannot make any determination. Whew. Yeah, the all I know is that the furries are always divided, and yeah. I feel like this silhouette was better. Very divided. Oh no. Yeah, there's always a fling on Twitter. I'm beginning to think about just switching to Instagram and never coming back. But I can't get away. Yeah, same, but people keep telling me that freaking that's how you get it. And so it's like I'm like the only time I get business is when I'm, answering, not um not posting, not really. I don't get any comms on there or Twitter or anything else. I get all mine through Telegram. What the heck is Telegram? Wait a second. Hold on, Telegram. I get some on Twitter actually. Telegram, Messenger. Oh, it's kind of like Discord. I've gotten a couple of people from Discord. If I'm being a good boy, sometimes I go on Discord just to shit in someone's cornflakes. But that's just, that's just for fun. I'm not. Mostly furries use it, and we have some really big commission chats. Oh, I gotta tell my furry friend about this. Hold on. Because he might be interested. Yeah, because he goes for like 100% furry art, so like, I don't really. I mean, like, I wouldn't be averse to it, but I'm not gonna do like anything of anything that's pornographic, so that limits my customer base very heavily, because that is kind of what is expected. You see, I feel like it is the best way to further down the road ensure. Oh, really? That's interesting. Let me check it out. Yeah, like if it's not porn, then like yeah, I'm down for that. I just feel like there's it could be like like suggestive, but not. Not lewd. Oh, this color was way better, I think. I want to use some of that. Make your own ad, just post it in the chat. It's got like 1,000 people who buy and sell. Go there to look for art clients. Oof, that's interesting. So like what do I search for to like just furry Telegram? Because I'm always like I'm looking through places like DeviantArt and all these other places. So furry marketplace or ad dealers then. Huh. I'll be sure to check those out. Thanks. Yeah, always looking for clients. because it's a hard hustle. It's a hard hustle. So run a channel there for my work. People can subscribe to your channel. It's kind of like posting on a blog almost. On there, to see it, but they cannot edit it. Oh, so it's like Tumblr. Now that Tumblr's dead. RIP. Rest in pastrami. I think I unscrewed a lot of the silhouette. I think this is getting there. I feel like this part is much stronger in the previous. I feel like this is slick. This is much stronger in the previous. Iteration. I don't know, I feel like it got worse. It's always bad. I really like this thing. I don't know why. It's just the right amount of. Well, thanks. I'm working on like 2 of them at a time. It's this one and this one. Let me see. Before it breaks my computer. Opening 2 files. That's too much. Oh no. These are pretty big files to be fair, though. It's like a Monster Girl, I guess. This one. But it's supposed to be like kind of like horror, kind of like, you know, something like forbidden fruit or something like this one too. I feel like might be. No, I think it's getting better. Getting better. Just for these parts. I'd actually go with here. I like super better. Yeah, see, sometimes you just make bad changes. I think I like this better. A dragon in the background. Yeah. And a tiger. Tiger tattoo. Yeah, I feel like even though that hairstyle is a bit more real, it might just be, you know what, it might just be the, what's it called? It might just be the fact that this one was like biased towards the dragon. Yeah, it might be the backlight. We move this to a separate group. Yeah, we'll have to work on that. Specialty is dragons. That's why I'm biased. Oh, cool. See some of your dragon art. I'm a big fan of dragons. I think it has to do with you know, having that as my like astrological sign. Dragons are just cool in general, so might actually be that. Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm a big fan of dragons. Big fan. Huh. Being invaded by. I think you're our fourth furry. That's cool. Let's draw peppermint. You're neat. I like how the wings are structured. It's pretty dope. Pretty neat. I feel like you have very solid drawing there. Yeah. Gonna have to put in some architecture in here, I think. To get... Make it more interesting. Without overcrowding. So that's always tough. You always get. Ah, neat. It's like what's it called? One of those Oh, you got 2 accounts? Where's that? Oh, that's Myra F. Neat. Yeah, it's like we used to do those in drawing class. Put a like antelope head in front of us. Draw 'em. I think that was the last art instruction I got. Was like antelope. The antelope. I was back in high school though. It's a long time ago. Ah, I see. Yeah, I've had like a bunch of names on the internet. Most of them are pretty dead. The only people that know about them are like high school friends. Yeah, one for every platform. I was surprised to learn that Joe Rogan used IRC. That was kind of a interesting. What's it called? There's only like I don't know. It feels very esoteric now, but at the time I guess it wasn't. I don't want some dissolve in here to bring back the. Yeah, fingers. Very tough. I'm unsure about the size of them right now. And the spread too. I think this one is more like. Let me see. Trying to look at my own finger here. Perfect. Be a little better. let me save this. I think I saved it already. Alright, I'll take a break from this one. I think it went pretty good for the day. A lot of improvements. Not this part. This is an improvement, I think. This part I'm not sure about just yet. I can pick up parts of this. Still working on it. Still working on it. I'll figure out a hatch for this veil next time, because I'm not sure what it's connected to. Yeah, I'll check it tomorrow, see if I can improve it. The silhouette has gone back to the way it was, which was a just vastly superior silhouette, so that's good. Yeah. I think that's good for now. I'll just save it here and then switch over to the other thing I'm painting. I think I'll start by getting like the shapes right for the fingers, and then I'll switch over as I go. It's more of that. Might need to get an actual reference, not just my intermittent looking at my hands. So I think that is helping a little bit. You need a more drawing brush now. More drawing approach. good looking fingers. Just straight up. Fingers are always tough. But I always try to make an attempt. I feel like the attempt is as important. Just getting it right. Thanks. It'll look better once I get, once I get the reference and start, trying to get to what's actually there and not what's in my mind about. See, like this finger, it's actually wrong joint here. Should be. Kind of like this color. Might use some of it here. I sent my wife a message like, "Can I have the rest of the Thai food?" And she's like, "Yeah, half." And I already ate it all, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, well, I found it like this. I think this has to be more bent towards the door, right?" Rip. Just fucking. Thought she was gonna say yes. Thought she was gonna say yes. There's only enough for one person. Yeah. Like, I always just overeat. I don't know. It's like one of the properties of being me is that I could just eat forever. So I don't know. Just give her a back massage or something. It'll be all good. Hopefully. Artist murdered for eating Thai food. More at 11. Just like. Wife says he had it coming. Rip. I think the sizes are really wrong. I think it should be much bigger. Almost done with my attempt, and then just gotta get 2 more fingers in. Well, 1 more finger in. And then I'm gonna look up what these hands, or I'll just make my own reference. That might be faster. Right. I was looking for a reference for like half of the last image I did. It was just very hard. Very hard to find. Some of these things they just don't, they're not lying around waiting for you, so it's actually very difficult. Just I need to get my wife to pose then, because I feel like my fingers would be very manly. Very manly fingers. That's probably why her fingers look so wonky. Let me see. Woman grasping shoulder. Let's see what that brings. This might actually be good. Put that over here. I mean, that's that is some of the color, and maybe I can just borrow some of the joints. There's a lot of men grasping their shoulders. Oh, here's one. This one's almost perfect. I also like the indent here. That's like really important. I want to get that. Yeah, I think I like her finger much better than my finger. Her hand in general, I think I like better. Senshi sock. Yeah, there's so many options for stock now. I usually go for like Getty. Getty is usually my one-stop shop for stealing stock images. I need some reference. Go to Getty. I think the last thing I did was either almost entirely Getty or... yeah, way better than my hand. My idea of what my hand would be. I think. Yeah, I heard the one big downside for some of these stock sites was that they like go after you. I don't know, as an artist I don't really fear it because the work I do is almost entirely transformative, so I don't have to worry too much. Never know. Even if I'm photo bashing, I feel like it's very transformative. Any semblance of the original image is gone. Which is good. Always gotta like watch out for copyright though. Oh, it's not? Oh, I thought by the name that it was. Since she's stock. Oh, wait, I think I know who you're talking about, actually. They have like sort of almost kind of nude underpants people. Yeah, I borrow from them a lot. I like to do studies from there. They have very interesting poses for what's it called? Yeah, this artwork for, you know, just trying to figure out anatomy. It really works really well. Just needs to be larger. Yeah, unitards and stuff. Yeah. I think I know there's like a redheaded girl. Yeah. She does. She does all these funny. Oh, whoops. Yeah, she does all these. Yeah, I've definitely borrowed from them and their there's a couple other stock let's call it the advertise. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's very useful. I'm glad that someone is doing something like that. Because it is a little tough. It is a little tough at times. It's almost done. Or at least this iteration of it is. I think this hand will hold me till, you know, till it's like almost over. What I want is this indent. Like here. Like here. Or I want that, it's almost like a touch. That's what let's call that, actually. It's just, the feel, like looking at it makes me feel, like I'm touching something. Um, Mirror neurons, probably. Who knows? maybe a little bit of dissolve. Yeah, the way that light effect works is what I want so badly. Gotta go get the dinner going. It was nice talking to you. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. Appreciate the conversation. See you later. Still gotta get these fingers. I've been playing that Koreaboo game way too hard. I think I need a break. It's gotten so bad. I just wake up. I'm like, there's a property demoing. I gotta go and try to contest it and try to get some property for me and my friends so we can control the area. Like, we're like land barons. I don't know. There's a lot of immersive gameplay, and I just like there's very few games that do it right, and it's like one of those games that never really took hold in America because the publishing company screwed it. Now the publishing company Tryon is dead. So, but it was like one of those games that I played a little bit of, and then it was just it's really fun. I don't know, something about like allowing for pretty much like consequences, like risk, things like that, just gives you like just an interesting experience. Even if you're the one that's on the losing side and you have to suffer consequences of being stolen from, you get mad about it. It's like an emotional roller coaster. I think that's what games should strive for, providing that variety of feelings, not just success all the time. And that's what a lot of these games are, like World of Warcraft, for instance. It's a can't really, I don't think you can really lose much of anything. get your currency, and then you know, go home, or you lose the game and you get, you know, less currency. I guess I like games where it's more close to winner takes all type of mentality. Can't do that in most games because everybody got to win, you know. So yeah, it's like one of those games where you can experience that. There's only Eve Online, for instance, allows you to do that. It's like it's a game where you can have emergent gameplay. Or players make the value. That's always like tough. Most of these games coming out are gonna be like Anthem, where it's just, you know, kind of a theme park, Destiny, Warframe. Just, you know, you kind of go on the rides. Then you get off, and the game is basically, you know, do it again. That's it. You know, there's no real lose condition. It's not really even. I don't know. I guess that's how they get so boring, these games. It's just like keep shooting. But when it's like I've invested time and effort into doing something, and then some guy comes over and takes my carrots, that's when the game becomes real, and then you're like, ah, you coward. I don't know. I think that's a dangerous place for a game to be, because then it becomes kind of like addictive, because it hits more of those almost peak experiences. Yeah. Fine, I got a whole day where I'm just gonna be uninterrupted, so I can do some painting. try to saturate this a little bit. That works out for me. Needs more contrast, I think, to bring out his fingers. Counts like spirit. Some of the lines still need a little bit work. I think a lot of the rendering is weirdly there. See, because the lighting is different. I feel like I'm gonna have much more. Wish there was a hide layer, but right here. I think another part is the eyes. some of this has to change. I think it's a good base. Make it better. More contrast. Yeah, little by little. I'm gonna build up that hand. I think I spent all day on that. Three. Mm-hmm. I did spend most of it on the. I'm not sure about this. Not sure what that's supposed to be. But it screws with the composition a lot. I think I'll design some shapes in here. Greek flags or buildings. I feel like that's a good place to put them. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know what I want to do with the background. I'm just kind of putting in things there, but I haven't really thought about what it should be. Just kind of know that there should be a background. Hopefully I come up with something that pushes the story. Thinking like Is that ability? There's a lot unanswered. Like, why is she standing like this in the middle of town? Unsure. Unsure. Still working. Still working. Can keep fixing stuff. As long as I'm. I feel like some of this should blend in a little bit, and some of it should. Really keep a silhouette with hard. Possibly like on the bottom. And on top I could lose the edges. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, dissolve is very powerful. Um, at high res, it's like really getting weird blended artifacts that you just can't parse very well. So it just looks like something incredibly detailed and almost mythical. Oh god, I just had the worst idea. Oh boy. Oh my god. Why does my brain work this way? No. Anyway, I gotta take a break. Oh. I need to eat. But thank you guys for coming by. I appreciate you. Had some good conversation today. Always appreciate that. And yeah, see you later. Tomorrow, hopefully.